Hey, digital arts students. We are in section 9, the last section. Woohoo! And it's going to be a little fun. You really use your creative side. So we're going to, for assignment 9A, we're going to be designing a poster. And first thing we're going to do is under document properties, I just want you to double check and make sure that you're in portrait orientation here instead of landscape. We want this poster to be up and down, so double check to make sure that you're in portrait mode. Then we're going to go up to View, Zoom, and Page to get my whole page in view here. And now what you need to think about next is what you want this poster to be of or about and demonstrating. So you should have read through the text on how to create unity in a poster. And in your section 9 folder, they have a lot of images here you can choose from, but again, you need to think about what exactly it is you want this poster to be promoting. Anything you want. If you don't like any of these images, you can go and find your own if you have a certain idea in mind for a poster. I've decided I'm going to make like a cruise night poster. We used to have this big event in my hometown called Cruise Night where everyone would get out their old classic cars and cruise Main Street, and it's definitely a small town thing, but I love it. So I'm going to make a poster promoting Cruise Night. Next, I'm going to set up my layers by opening my layers palette over here. And this first layer, I'm going to name it background. Next layer I want to add is going to be called ornament 1. Next layer, bitmap 1. Next layer, subject 1. Next we have text, and last but not least we have ornament 2. And add. So they should be in this order. Next I'm going to want to trace this image, but first I'm going to copy and delete it from my background and move this to my bitmap layer where it should be. So now I'm on my bitmap layer and I want to lock this layer so that I don't accidentally click something and move it around because I'm going to be tracing it. But first I might want to select it and go View, Zoom, Selection to get nice and close up. Now let's go ahead and lock it. And we're going to trace this using the Bezier tool, which we should be a little more familiar with this by now. Okay, so I have everything traced with my Bezier tool, so I'm going to go ahead and I just realized I did something wrong. So this should have been on the bitmap layer, but then our tracing should have taken place on the subject 1 layer. So I'm going to copy everything and paste it onto our subject 1 layer. And then unselect and go in and just delete the car. Then hide that layer, go back to my bitmap layer, and going to select everything and unselect the car and just delete the tracing. Okay, hopefully you did that correctly. You had your image on the bitmap layer and you traced it on the subject layer so that your lines are on different layers. And I'm actually going to, I should have had some of these lines come in on the hood, so I'm going to go back and put those in first. Okay, so now I have everything on the right layers. I want to hide my bitmap, and you should see your nice traced image here. And at this point, we're going to go up to File, Save As, get into your Section 9 folder, get inside there, and this is going to be called Unity. So once we got that saved, now we are able to add some color to our traced image. So go ahead and under Object, open your Fill and Stroke panel and go ahead and add color to your image. Okay, so I have my car filled in, I have the colors filled in with my traced objects. So now I'm going to zoom back out here, and now we're going to add a rectangle to add some background. I'm going to go ahead and minimize and go to my background layer and click and drag to draw a rectangle. And then I'm going to experiment with a couple colors until I find one that I like. So once I have a color that I like, I'm going to lock my background layer. Then I want to click and drag to select all of my car image and group that all together. So now I want to set up some guidelines to help me with organizing my poster. So I'm going to drag out 2 vertical guidelines here and 2 horizontal guidelines. You can drag them anywhere because we're going to go in and set them up perfectly. So first of all, double click a vertical guideline, and in the X field we're going to set that to 500 and OK. In the next vertical guideline we are going to set to 250. Grab a horizontal guideline and set the Y field to 700. And the last one we're setting to 350. So your guidelines should look like this. Then using your guidelines, you're going to resize and drag your image to fit so that it fits somewhere in the rule of thirds here. I want to have, I actually didn't have control held, so control, resize. So I'm fitting my image so that it's in here in this first third of the poster. Once you have that placed, go ahead and lock that subject 1 layer so we don't accidentally grab it and move it around. Next, we're going to be adding titles and subtitles to our text layer. So click on your text layer and then go and grab the text tool and click and drag anywhere at first and type in your title. So mine's going to be called Cruise Night. So once I have that typed in, I can go in and edit it. So I can, let's see, go in, I can select that, and then I can choose the font and font sizes that I want my title to be. So go ahead and experiment with a font and font size that you want for your poster. You can also go up to the text menu and open up text and font and do it that way too. So either way works. So I'm setting up my title here, and just so you know, if you don't like any of the options that you have listed here, like for me, 72 was too small, 144 was too big. So if you can actually click in there and type in a certain size if it's not available on the list, and it will apply that size to your text. So next, we have our title created. Now we're going to add in a subtitle. So we're going to put a subtitle in below our title. So go ahead and add your subtitle to this text box here and apply the fonts and size to set that up the way you like. Next, we're going to add some color to our text. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit on here, and you can select your text, open up your fill and stroke, and apply some fill color to your text. So adjust your sliders here to get the colors that you like. Next, we're going to add some sidebar texts. So go grab your text tool again, and on the side opposite from where your image is, we're going to click and drag to make a text box, and then this is where information goes about kind of the side items going on for your show. Maybe what time it starts, what time the event starts, what all festivities are going to happen at the event. So any additional information that you would want to include on your poster would go in this sidebar. Okay, now I've got my sidebar text information there on the side. I just included information about the date, when it starts, the different festivities going on. And if you're happy with how all of this looks, you can go ahead and, let's see it, turn off your guides, close your fill and stroke, open your layers, make sure that your certain layers are locked. We should lock our background, subject 1, and text layers so that we don't accidentally grab those anymore. Okay, next we're going to add some ornamentation to our background. So kind of just some subtle images to add a little more character to our poster. So if we go to File, Import, they have some images in here for you that you can use. Or you can go and add some of your own images. So I actually went and found some tire tracks that I plan to add, but I think I might experiment with a couple of these. So I'll open up a few of these images and kind of do some experimenting. So let me open one more. My tire tracks. Okay, so now what you're going to do, let me zoom out a little bit, is you're going to trace these images using we can use the Trace Bitmap tool for this, and get these images traced out, then we'll drag them over to our background and make some adjustments so that they kind of fade out into the background. So I'll trace one for you here. If I go up, I have my tire track selected, then go up to my path menu, Trace Bitmap, and I want to do some edge detection. I really cranked up the threshold to get the finer details of my tire tracks. And I can say OK, close, and apply the tracing to my tire tracks here, so I can drag. The trace would be on the top layer, so I can drag that down and then go ahead and delete that bitmap. And I'll just kind of move this off to the side for now until I decide where I want to place that on my poster. And then I'll also do the same thing to these, trace bitmap, and get all those images traced out. So I have my images traced out, and now I'm going to, you can drag them over and apply them to your screen here, and you'll notice because of my layer, I am above my background but behind all of these other objects. So then what I'm going to do with that ornament selected is make some adjustments on opacity and blur and kind of make it so that it fades to the background a little bit. Maybe not so much blur. But so make some adjustments and maybe apply some color changes to get that ornament image to kind of be a decoration in your background. Okay, so I've added some ornaments to my background, including some tire tracks for my car, and I moved things around just a little bit until I liked just the way everything was sitting on my page. So there's kind of a look at my poster. And the last thing we got to do is, let's go ahead and save what we got, and then go ahead and export. So now we're going to do actually export page. Make sure we get the whole page exported here. Go into your section 9 folder, call it Unity, save, and export. Then for assignment 9B, you get to be a little more creative even. So for assignment 9B, you will think of a book, movie, band, or something else you like and what a poster might look for that subject. You need to include all of the following things that we just did with this poster, but now you just get to be a lot more creative. So it's up to you what you want to make this next poster about. Good luck, have a little fun with it, and submit that into assignment 9B.